Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. This is episode number 111 on Zero Point Healing Show. I really love the number 111, and it's interesting that it's the episode number 111 here. And today I have with me an amazing beyond quantum healing practitioner with me, which is a beautiful modality. I myself have come through these directions of these beautiful modality that we are going to talk about. Before I move on to my guest, just a short intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya, and I'm certified in different holistic healing modalities. So past life regression and hypnotherapy and few other modalities which is very related to beyond quantum healing. Along with that, I'm also certified in different modalities like theta healing, soul plan reading, access consciousness, and so on. So through these journey between holistic healing modalities, and it was interesting because all of these modalities I got certified in the interval of 1 to 2 months. Like this month I was learning this modality, and 2 months down the line I was sitting in a different class, totally different modality. So all of those modalities that I mentioned, maybe I got certified in a time period of 1 year. And all of that was like, wow, there is so much that is existing in this world that I never knew about until I got into this holistic healing world. And I could see from that perspective how each of these modalities consists of different keys that can unlock different doors of potential in our lives. And for me personally, when I went through that beautiful cycle of certifying in different modalities and receiving sessions in these different modalities, it felt like I became a totally different person in that 1 year time frame. And I feel this inspiration that I got for creating zeropointhealing.com, which is a web directory that I have created for all holistic healing modalities, all holistic healing practitioners, facilitators, healers, therapists. And now it has become a beautiful entity by itself, creating amazing stuff in the world now. And this interviews, what I do is I invite all of those practitioners who are registered in this directory to kind of showcase them to the world, letting people know the kind of skills and talents and the gifts that they are kind of bringing forth into the world, and kind of creating that connection point between them and the world out there, the clients who are looking for solutions. It's like one side we have people who are capable of creating magic with these holistic healing tools that they have. On the other hand, we have clients or people out there who are looking for these tools, who are looking for solutions for their life challenges. So, zeropointhealing.com is a web directory that becomes the centerpiece that connects them both. If you are a holistic healing practitioner yourself, it's my pleasure to invite you to zeropointhealing.com. You can register for free, and you can also, if you're interested in this kind of interview, you can let me know about it. If you're a client, if you are a person who's looking for some kind of solutions for your life challenges, you can go to zeropointhealing.com, search so many different modalities and practitioners, what they have to offer you, and choose your practitioner who can help you with whatever you're looking for. All right, so with that, I am moving on to my beautiful guest here. So, welcome, Laurie. Thank you so much for coming to my show. It's my absolute pleasure for having you. So, tell us all a little bit about yourself and your journey into this holistic healing world.
Well, hi, good morning, Vishnu. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I'm honored to be here with you. My journey with BQH, it started, I guess we could say in 2017. I was having some health problems, and I apologize for the plane that's going by right now. But I was having some health problems, and I didn't know how to proceed because when I went to doctors, they didn't know what was wrong with me. And I didn't have insurance or a job. And the tests they kept wanting to do were costing more and more. And I knew that even if they found something, I wouldn't be able to get any kind of treatment because I couldn't pay for it. So I listened to my inner self, which was pretty much like a gut instinct that said, stop going to these doctors, do some research and see what you can do for yourself. So I started researching, and one thing I learned about a lot of people who healed themselves was that they cleaned up their diet. So I cleaned up my diet, and once I did that, I started to feel better. Physically, all these symptoms I was having were dissipating. And then I started to open up to my abilities. Like I started to hear my inner guidance more, like more of those gut instincts at the time. And, during the time when I wasn't well, I was watching a lot of YouTube and Dolores Cannon had showed up on my recommended videos. And she did a video where she was lecturing. This is before she passed. She used to do lectures all around the world about her work. And every single thing she was talking about with different clients was all kind of confirming everything I believed my entire life. Because I've always been the kind of person that was into the metaphysical. As a child, I loved looking at the stars. I was into astrology. I started working with crystals at 16. And then I started reading tarot at 18. But like during my 20s, I ended up stopping all of that because, I was, for the most part, most people thought of me as like a hippie. So I pretty much stopped doing everything because when you get into your mid 20s, like the kind of family that I had, my mother was very much like, you got to get a real job. You got to stop doing this. It's not cute anymore. You're an adult. So I started focusing on that. And for like a good chunk of my life, I spent kind of asleep and not very happy because I was living a life I didn't enjoy, having to give up all the things I loved, including art, because art was a major part of my life as a child. It helped me heal. I couldn't speak much as a child because my mother was a narcissist. So that's one of the traumas that I endured that affected me a great deal throughout the rest of my life. Like after college, I drank a lot, experimented with drugs, just to kind of numb down all the chaos I was feeling around me, because I was very sensitive. Every little thing bothered me, meaning like I thought the world was very unfair. I was always told like that's just how it is, but I thought there's got to be a better way. But getting back to BQH, after seeing all those things that Dolores talked about, I really wanted to get more into energetic healing. I started taking Reiki. And actually, my dad had passed in 2017. And that was like one of the first times that I experienced something with a spirit because he came to me afterwards. And I hadn't taken the Reiki course yet. I was like mulling it over in my mind, but I wasn't sure. I was very skeptical about energy work. And he told me that I should quit my job, continue my art, take the Reiki course. This was a man that never believed in anything spiritual like this. He was, just a regular hardworking man. I mean, he did love art and animals and nature, but he didn't even know the word Reiki. So for his spirit to tell me and encourage me to follow this path, I thought I have to, so I did. And once I learned Reiki, I opened up to all my energetic abilities and I started to feel how I could heal myself. And I delved deeper into Dolores's work and got more interested and felt like, once I got my Reiki master certification, I felt like, okay, I'm ready to kind of delve into what Dolores did. But I couldn't afford her course. So I don't know, the universe works in miraculous ways because as I was thinking like, well, I'm gonna have to save and God knows when I can take her course, I saw an interview with Candace Goldman, who is the founder and creator of BQH. And she was giving a discount on her course, which was already a fraction of the cost of Dolores Cannon's course. And she explained how her course was a lot like QHHT because she had practiced that for, I think, about 10 years and even worked very closely with Dolores. So I felt like she was a trusted person to, learn from because she learned from Dolores. So, but her method was to free people up because as a QHHT practitioner, you can only do sessions in person. You can't do them online. So she gave people the opportunity to do them online, also freedom to mix in other modalities in your sessions. And I just felt like this was one of the best modalities for me, because she also talked about water alchemy, and I have a close connection with water. Loved Dr. Masaru Emoto's work, who she also, used within the course. She taught us about his work. So yeah, that's how I got into it. My life has changed drastically since becoming a practitioner. And I love it. I love every bit about this modality. It's so empowering.
Wow, thank you for giving us that full, beautiful tour of your life. And it is interesting that I got started exactly there. And I remember I was at this point in my life where for you it was a health issue. For me, in my life, it was a financial challenge that I faced, where I could feel like my life can't take one step forward before I can fix the mess that I was in. And at that time, it was YouTube videos. I was like working full time. Working, meaning I was watching YouTube videos as my full time job. And the YouTube videos that I'm talking about is like Dolores Cannon's, different past life regression, hypnotherapy, and all of these beautiful work. There was this kind of channel which put in 2 hours, 3 hours, full length of these sessions. And I would just sit and watch these entire sessions where it is talking about the session itself, as you would obviously know, it's connecting with our creator within, or we talk about higher self, however we want to call it as. And for me it was like, wow, is this all true? Can it be true? Can it be that we are somebody else that we never know about? And all of it, it was my very first time, facing
Mhm.
the spiritual side of human beings. So now let's go directly into that topic. And it was Dolores Cannon's video that I got started off, at least I should say 1 to 2 months time, every day, morning to evening. I was sitting and watching these beautiful videos and taking in all of that. So now tell us about what PQH consists of. A client who is coming for the session, first tell us, how long the session would be like and what's happening inside the session. And now also talking a little bit about the topic, awakening the creator within. So tell us how that is connecting to BQH as well.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, Awaken the Creator Within kind of be like it started because I'm an artist as well. And after my first session, so many things awakened within me. I feel like every single person on earth has this like spark of light within them. That's your soul. We call it the higher self, in this modality. People who don't know anything about it call it gut instinct. Whatever that is, that inner guidance that guides you true is, it's something that we all have to tap into. I feel like it's also connected, it's our direct connection to source. So like if you're connected to your higher self, to your soul, you're also very connected to source, and you can receive the messages that are for your highest good. A lot of times in the world, it's really chaotic. So we tend to think that none of this exists. Um, and when we don't believe that something exists, then we completely erase it from our existence. That's how powerful of a creator that we are. Um, and in doing art throughout my life, it was my way of healing. It was my way of tapping into that soul, to that connection to source. It healed me because I didn't have a voice. It gave me a voice to express myself visually. When I was talking to God, I would see images. And in my first session that I had as a client, um, I connected to Van Gogh, and he kind of showed me his life as well. But I know you asked me first about like what a session is like with me. So when a client reaches out, we are already connecting. Like our higher selves are connecting to each other. And I start receiving messages right after talking to them about what crystals might want to be used, because I do a little crystal grid sometimes if it's called to me, or I'll just have specific crystals to help with energy during the session. And it is a 4 to 6 hour session. So you have to make sure that your day is like completely set aside, for that, because afterwards you get a little bit tired. Like there's a lot of energy that's used that you don't even know you have until after the session's over. And it really starts off with us talking to each other and getting to know each other and finding out what it is in your life that you're having difficulty with, the challenges, the traumas, whatever it is that is holding you back in your life. We discuss all of that. And I also have clients write down a list of questions that they've always wanted to know about in life. We go over all those questions to make sure that we have them prepared. We write an intention for the session, which basically is an outline of all of your questions. And then we do a water alchemy ceremony where we each have a glass of water and we place that intention into the water. Because like Masaru Emoto taught us, the water absorbs any energy that you give it. Excuse me. So you put that intention in and you drink the water, it like goes all through your body. It starts that energetic flow and it connects us to our higher selves, to our guides. And then I start the induction. I use sound healing as well. So I work with sound bowls, the crystal healing bowls, and I also work with tuning forks, solfeggio frequency forks. And I use my intuition of how I connected to your higher self to find out which ones you specifically need, as well as when you talk to me, I know exactly what you need to kind of help your energetic body. Because what the sound does is it does a lot of clearing, it does a lot of strengthening of your auric field. So many people have so many holes and tears in their auric field, that's their energetic field, because of the chaos that's out there and the traumas that they've experienced. So that kind of helps get you in the flow. Your higher self then takes over on the session, and the reason it takes so long is because the higher self just starts showing you images. It may show you one past life, it may show you three, it may show you four, it might show you a future life. And then we start asking questions. We ask all the questions you have. And when the session's over, I'll gently pull you out of the theta state. And, we have a little chat before, we end, just to make sure that you're grounded and that everything's going good. But that's basically what a session looks like when you book with me.
Wow, that is amazing. And 4 to 6 hours, do you kind of have just one client for a day if you're doing a session? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, I mean, there's enough hours in the day to fit two, but I like to devote a full day to all my clients because I need to be clear before we meet. And then after we meet, a lot of energy gets taken from both sides. I know after I facilitate, I'm starving and I need to eat. Like, so it's not just because it was a 4-hour session, it's just, I don't know, I feel the energy as well. And it's like a beautiful, beautiful experience. So many wonderful things happen. Sometimes during sessions, thunder will clap, the sun will start shining bright, like all these wonderful things happen. I work with all the elements, so I think it's amazing.
Wow, that is amazing. So, first of all, can you maybe tell us a little bit about maybe some of your client experiences with regards to, I think, one of the major kind of questions or challenges that people face with any kind of hypnotherapy is the first block that comes up is, oh, would I be able to get into that theta state, for example, or is that going to be a challenging thing? So tell us a bit about your client experiences.
Okay, well, first of all, what you should know before you even book a session is if you're thinking you're not going to get or you're not going to be going under, you may not, because you've already put that intention in of like, you can't hypnotize me, I can't be hypnotized. That in itself puts a big wall right there. I used to be like that, so I'm not judging anybody. For a long period of time, even though I was into crystals and tarot, I thought hypnosis, no one's going to be able to hypnotize me. And I was right because I put the block there. And later on, after I had my session, I went under like that. But that was because I was open to it, I was ready, and I wasn't having any unrealistic expectations of what was going to happen. Like basically just no expectation. is what we're taught when we learn BQH, is just be free and open and let your higher self know you're ready to communicate, and then be like, accept what your higher self shows you, because they will not show you anything you're not ready for. So for those that are afraid and thinking, oh, I'm gonna see all these demons that, like, you know, because they're depressed or because they're angry, like, oh, I'm gonna see all these things coming at me. If you feel that way, you may attract those things, but it's not always the case. Your higher self knows you best and is not going to terrify you with things like that. So that's something I always try to let people know, not to worry. As far as like when you're open, it's very easy. It's like going to sleep, you know, it's that easy. And that's a good way to kind of look at it too. A good metaphor is like, if you're stressed and thinking too much, are you going to have a good night's rest? You're not going to be able to sleep very well. But if you're just relaxed and open, you'll be able to drift to sleep, no problem. So kind of think of it the same way.
Beautiful. And do you also want to share maybe a bit about your client stories and experiences of what your clients would have faced?
I did have, when I first started, my first clients were my practice clients. So I had a friend and my husband who tried this out with me, and my husband had a problem going under. um, and it was a little bit, um, I don't know, kind of shaking for me, because it was my first time and I'm like, am I doing this right? But in the end, you know, after, because we had tried for like an hour or two to kind of get into that state, he wasn't. I also realized you're not supposed to force anything either. So I just kind of went with it. And when a person does not go into theta state, like full theta state, and is very relaxed, what I do is I work with them. We start talking about a current like situation. You know, I might take them back into like, think about your childhood and what's the first memory that comes to mind. And we start doing imagination exercises like that, because that will often be enough for that particular client. Like if they're not ready to go fully under, their higher self may just pop an idea into their mind of like, when I ask the question, think about your childhood, what's the first thing that comes up? The higher self is right there giving you that image. And that's what we need to focus on. So then they start talking about that, and we get into it, and we realized later that what he saw and was talking to me about was very relevant to some of the problems he was having in his current life that he didn't really even know was the case. So even though one might say that's an unsuccessful session, I didn't get under, he did clear a lot of, you know, childhood things that he never realized were, you know, were issues. As far as my friend who went under very easily, she meditates regularly, and she was so open for this. She was so ready. She wanted a session with, you know, with other practitioners, but she didn't have the money. And when I learned, I offered it to her for free. And so she was just so excited and went under immediately, saw past life, um, saw so many things. She saw galactic life. I mean, it was just this wonderful, amazing experience. And she also got answers to every question that she brought with her, which I love. I love when all the questions get answered for clients, because so much clarity comes through for them. It's just so beautiful. So either way, if you easily go under, if you don't, you can still have a successful session. There's no need to stress about that.
Wow, that is beautiful. Can you also kind of tell us what kind of problems or challenges can a client come to you for? Let's say, people who are watching this video, they might have, let's say, financial issues or relationship issues or health issues or anything else. Maybe just a quick summary of what are all the kind of challenges that BQH can help them with.
Um, in my experience, some of the heavy problems, I don't want to give a percentage, but a lot of women who come to me have had some kind of like sexual trauma, whether it was in a childhood or when they were an adult. And it could be something of like, not as simple, but it goes on a range. Like I was harassed at work, or I was abused as a child. So we have this range of things that have happened that usually comes up and it unfortunately in so many different sessions, but this is something we can work with, um, because it is such a big problem. It's a big problem that many people don't talk about, not even, society is trying to start talking about it, but they really aren't. It's still this antiquated idea that it's okay, or that, and I don't want to say that, but as a woman, yeah, and I've had my own experiences as well, so I can relate to these women who come to me with these problems. And we do go into that during the session. We'll ask questions, and sometimes they'll see that past life if they need to re-see it. Sometimes you don't need to revisit it. Sometimes it's just a matter of like understanding um the situation that brought you there, or just how to move past it. Again, your higher self knows how to help you, each individual. There So let's say that you do have this problem, not everyone's going to have the same solution to it, basically, because your higher self works very directly with you and what you need in your life. Another problem that some people are having, like one of my clients had a 3-year-old child who she was afraid had autism. He was experiencing all of the characteristics, but she was afraid to get him tested because she didn't want that confirmation. During her session, she asked to speak to his higher self, and in which case we did a surrogate session. When we do a surrogate session, we always ask for permission from the other person's higher self before we even begin. So just know that I don't want anyone calling me saying, oh, my husband's cheating on me. I want to get a session to hear what he's doing, because that's not the way this works. It's always for the highest good of all. And we did ask her son's higher self if he was willing to participate, and he said yes. And he came through and it was beautiful. He explained to her all the different things that were going on with him. And one of the reasons he was exhibiting all of these signs of autism was because he needed to detox his body. He had problems with mercury in his system that were not only, not to get controversial, but in the session it said it came from vaccines. It also came from her. She had several metal fillings in her mouth. So during pregnancy, that kind of went into his body. He also had problems with different foods that he was allergic to that she wasn't really sure of, or like that she didn't know about. So he gave a list of things that he can't eat. He also told us that one of the reasons he exhibited such, because he had a lot of, what's the word? Problems like with anger and like just acting out and stuff like that. So one of the reasons why was because he's very energetically sensitive. Um, we were told he was a star seed who had never lived on Earth before. So he had like so much sensitivity. He also magnifies energy. So like, let's say you're angry, he's going to magnify that 10 times over with his behavior. If you're happy, he's going to magnify that with like 10 times of bliss, so he had these very like strong mood swings and things. So she started to learn, we asked, how can we help him with this? And, his higher self said, do breathing exercises, meditation, walks in nature. And so after the session, she was enlightened with all these different things that she could do. And she was active in working with him with it. She got a holistic doctor to help her come up with a detox protocol for him. They took blood, they did everything correctly because he is a child. And they detoxed all that stuff out. 2 years later, she's telling me that she's got her child back. So he's not, she's like, he's attentive. He talks to us. Before, he wasn't having like very good conversations. You would ask him a question and he would stare into space. And like now he's like talking to her, not having as many tantrums as he was. But this is because she followed the advice given. That's another thing I like to tell my clients. Once your higher self tells you that you need to do something, you better do it if you want to fix your life or heal or whatever it is that you came for advice for. If you don't follow the advice, you go back to square one. So, you can say that, if you do that, you can say the session didn't work, it's all your fault. It's not, because we help facilitate, we help to connect you. Um, One thing that my clients tell me is after their sessions, they're connected for good. Like they start telling me, I was in the shower the other day and my higher self told me to do XYZ. Or I was driving the other day and my higher self told me to go over here. And you know what? I got like half off of this thing I was looking for. So it's just, that is the kind of connection we always have inherently to our divine self. But when we block it, a session like this, I kind of call it like a kickstart to the reconnection, because it really does help you to see and to hear that inner guidance.
Can you hear me? Yes.
I
Wow,
can hear you now.
that's a beautiful,
I know
beautiful
I was talking a lot.
story. Thank you. No, I think that is a true contribution, because I know that when we are discussing, hypnotherapy or a modality like BQH, it's difficult for a first time listener to actually know what this kind of session can do for them. But I think that story perfectly illustrates how much can happen with such a kind of a session. And wow, thank you so much. Can we now quickly, can you tell us all the services that you're providing, and quickly wrapping up our beautiful interview here?
Yeah, sure. I do BQH sessions, and I also do something that I call conscious quantum healing, where for those that are afraid to be put under, we just talk, and I do some imagination exercises with you, and we kind of help to figure out a solution to your problem, and to get you kind of like, get your feet wet in the whole BQH things so that you can be ready for a BQH session, if that's the case. I also offer art and meditation workshops, because like I said, when we make art, we're channeling that higher self. So that's yet another level for those that aren't ready to delve deep yet, but want to try and connect to that higher self within them, that creative soul, and awaken that creator, because it works in different ways, not just the creative arts way, but also that like God creator that's within. I offer those workshops, and we'll do a guided meditation, and this is like a group workshop. And then after that, we all paint together, and we paint what it is that we saw through our meditation. Or you just paint what you feel. I am so open with these because I feel like art is something that should be pure freedom between you and your soul. No one should tell you what you should be painting. Um, and I also offer sound healing, again, with the quartz crystal bowls, the solfeggio frequency healing forks. And I do those for people and for pets, because just to be quick, I had a pet that was really sick, and I helped him to heal with the solfeggio frequency healing forks. They are just the best thing. Animals love it. They love it. So it helps with anxiety. It helps with the separation anxiety that they have. So yeah, I mean, I offer a bunch of different things, and you can go to my website at starenergyarts.com or to Zero Point to see all those wonderful things that I offer. And I also just opened up a Patreon page, where I'm going to be offering live workshops, and live sound baths and meditations, for those that join. So take a look on Patreon as well. And that should be
Wow,
it.
that is beautiful set of different talents and gifts that you have got, and you've combined them beautifully, art and sound healing and BQH, along with the beautiful crystal work that you're doing. Wow, that's amazing set of things. Thank you so much, first of all, for offering these beautiful skills out into the world. And my dear viewers, if you would like to book a session with Laurie, you can click on the link right below this video, and you can, have a talk to her, chat with her to see what kind of session maybe that she can help you with, whatever your issues and challenges of your life is. You can have a chat with her, and she would be able to kind of lead you into which would be the right door for you. And we also have an additional 10% off discount coupon just for watching this video. And the 10% off discount coupon is 0 Point. When you contact her, you can just let her know that you found her from 0 Point, and she would be happy to give you that. So thank you so much, Laurie. It was such a fantastic interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vishnu. It was so nice to meet you and be on your show.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, my dear viewers. I'm going to see you in my next show. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can choose to subscribe and support us, as well as share this video if you know of any particular person who might have you might have remembered while she was explaining different client stories. For example, if there's any family member, relatives whom you think that this kind of session or even this video would be a contribution for them, you can share this video with them. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to see you in my next interview. Thank you, my dear. Bye bye.